How you doing, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wilde's Mailbox here at ESPNMilwaukee.com and ESPNMadison.com. We're back here at Lambeau Field, back in Green Bay after our struggles to get home from Pittsburgh, and we're back at the Mailbox. So, one of the emails that I've been getting a lot of, 5 or 6 I think actually when I looked at it today, are playoff scenarios and what happens and how does it happen that the Packers get in the playoffs, and is there any way that they don't make the playoffs? And the answer to that is there's a couple of things that could happen. First of all, the easiest way for the Packers to get into the playoffs, obviously, is to win out. They beat Seattle on Sunday. They go to Arizona and win on January 3rd in a game that the Cardinals may have nothing to play for and may want to rest their best players. They're 11-5. They're in the playoffs. No questions asked. Now, the NFL has put out some a guide for how the Packers can get in the playoffs this weekend. It's pretty simple. The Packers clinch a playoff berth if they win and the Giants lose, or if they win and Dallas loses, or if the Packers tie the Seahawks and the Giants lose. So I'm betting on the tie Giants-loss combination. But if you take a look at the more complex situation, though, and what happens at the end of the season if the Packers end up tied with Dallas, or if they end up tied with the Giants, or if they end up tied with both, that's where things get a little more sticky. The reality is that if there's a three-way tie, if Dallas, the Giants, and the Packers all finish tied at 10-6, which would mean the Giants would have to win out, Dallas would only win one of its last 2 games, and the Packers would have to win only one of their last 2 games. The Packers still get in that scenario because Dallas would be eliminated by head-to-head competition, both by the Giants, who swept the season series with them, and by the Packers, who won the November 15th matchup. So that's the good news. The bad news is if somehow the Packers were to wind up in a head-to-head situation with the Giants, say Dallas wins both its games to finish 11-5, and the Packers win 1 of 2, and the Giants win both of their games, and they both finish 10-6, now you're looking at a scenario where the Packers actually lose that tiebreaker in the head-to-head. I've got my NFL record and fact book right here, and on page 33 for the tie-breaking procedures, because they would have the same record within the conference at 8-4, the next one would be based on best one-loss tied percentage in common games, minimum of 4, and the Packers actually lose that tiebreaker. So that's a way the Packers could finish 10-6 and still miss the playoffs. But we'll have a much clearer picture after Sunday's game. I have a feeling that the Packers are going to win that game fairly handily, and we'll revisit this topic once we get there. So the other thing, since I've got my record and fact book open, I wanted to go through the Packers' schedule for next year. I know a lot of you have been emailing about that. You're curious about that. This is the last year they've extended their rotation that they used from 02 to 09 for 1 more year. And so we have the away and home opponents, except for 2 because they're dictated by division finish. But at home, the Packers' home schedule, for those of you that are either Milwaukee or Green Bay ticket holders, Dallas, the Giants, Buffalo, Miami, and the corresponding team in the NFC West, which probably is going to be San Francisco. On the away side of the ledger, they would play at home. They would play on the road at Philadelphia, at Washington, at New England, at the New York Jets, and at an NFC South opponent, which would either be Atlanta or Carolina at this point. And that basically means that they're going to be going east on every single road trip next year. The furthest west or farthest west they go will be Minneapolis, because obviously they've got the home-and-home series with their division rivals, Chicago, Detroit, and Minnesota. So that's it for today's Wilde's Mailbox. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to take Christmas off, so if you guys don't tune in for tomorrow's episode, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and be sure to submit your questions either via email to jwilde@espnmilwaukee.com or espnmadison.com, or via Twitter. Thanks a lot.